Yep, so I'm going to be assessing your hair roots and pupil, and then I'll also cover your hair in a bit as well before we start draping. Alright, so this is your natural hair color right now. Okay, it's close to a number 3 brightness, which is a darkest brown. I'm going to look at your eye color, so look into the mirror for me. Okay, eye brightness is about a level 9. So the most common brightness I see in Asians, out of my clients, is around an 8. So it's like slightly brighter than the average brightness. So I'm going to note that down. Okay, and then we're covering your hair. I've got all the 12 tones here in front of me.
Okay.
And I usually go through it on my own to see what type you are. And then when I know for sure, that's when I'll walk you through the whole thing and explain your type. This a bit dim. So what colours do you wear the most day to day? Is that a go-to palette?
No, not really these, except maybe like
just
more
in
of a
general?
cream.
Just in general?
Like greys, more neutral. So like a off-white.
Off-white, yep.
Navy.
Yep. Off-white.
And like a light pink.
Light pink.
But this is more corally. It's a bit too warm.
Do you wear greys, blacks as well?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you also have colours that you specifically avoid or just don't wear as much?
Yeah, I never wear orange or yellow. They're the main ones. I used to wear like turquoise and like electric blue when I was younger, but I don't really wear those colours anymore, the bright colours.
Yeah, you tend to sort of tone it down a little bit, stay more neutral.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to compare a few things. So when you first got it done, were you a summer?
No, they said I was a winter.
You're a winter. Did they also tell you like the tone?
No, I don't think they had that back then.
I see.
It was basically just the 4.
And when it comes to patterns and things like that, are you much of a pattern person or more
Not
solid
so much.
colour?
Yeah, solid.
Alright, so you are summer type, so still cool tone. So
I thought
warm
so.
tone and cool tone doesn't really change, even with age or like when you're tan or anything like that. So your undertone doesn't change. And seasons normally don't change either. But you're a summer. You're a cool tone, but you're a summer. And I'll show you on the chart what that all looks like because it's a bit easier to see visually. So that's the summer palette right there.
Yeah.
And there's 3 tones under summer as well. There's light summer, clear summer, and mute summer. And you're a mute type. So muted summer, but your second best is the light summer. So as you can see, not everyone has 2 of them, like 2 tones in one season as best and second best. It's usually when people are a little bit in between tones. So for example, your best colors look like this, and your second best colors look like this. So if you have a look, they belong to different types, but the only difference visually is that there is 1 drop of grey in here. But brightness wise, they're really similar. Saturation wise, very similar as well. None of them are as strong as like a navy or, you know, electric blue or hot pink or anything. They're very similar saturation and value levels. Only difference is that mute has a drop of grey.
So what is the best true neutral? Isn't neutral more like black, white, and then something in between?
Neutrals?
Yeah.
For you, light grey.
Light grey. That's what I thought.
Oh really? Is that what you felt?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I have more in my wardrobe, like the light grey.
Yeah.
But then, like with this color, this is more of a, what is it, camel or something? No, not really camel. Anyway.
It's like a greyish.
Is that in that one of those palettes?
Beige. Yeah. Yep. I would say that's a muted palette. That's a muted color.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm on the right track then.
Yes. So mute. Summer mute and light. And if you want to look up more content about, you know, summer mute, you can always type. You can also type soft summer or mute summer or summer mute. Like soft summer, mute summer, they're the same thing.
What about like celebrities? Because that's one way, a good way, I think, because they tend to have stylists, so then you can see what they're wearing. Do you know someone who's a
I know a Korean actress. Yeah. I'll show you later.
Okay.
I'll show you her later. And then the reason why these are your best colors is because, like I said, we're looking for colors that are quite similar to your own skin tone. You're quite medium, like 2 to 3. Like you're on the fair side, but not super fair to be a light summer. So because the brightness and saturation is quite similar to the mute summer, that's why that's your best tone, because they're the colors that blend in with you the best.
I have a lot of pigmentation too, which kind of skews it.
But it actually doesn't, it's not like large enough to actually affect your color.
Okay.
Your skin tone in general is a little bit more on the mute side.
Okay.
So I actually start by showing you your least best colors, and then we're going to come back to these.
All right.
Yeah. Alright, let me show you your least best colors. Firstly, colors that are completely different on the value or saturation scale to you, or like extreme on one end or both ends. So these colors are very low in value and very high in saturation, meaning they are much closer to black than they are to white or grey and pigment. So you will need a lot of paint to create these colors rather than when you create like a light grey.
I do have one top that's like a chocolate brown. It's a little bit light, more creamy than that. It's not quite as dark as that, but I don't really wear it.
You don't really wear it. I'll show you what happens when you wear colors that are quite different to your skin tone. Do you see that really dark, thick shadow under your chin?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just a shadow under your chin, but it can also make the sides of your face look a little bit sunken.
That's
lining.
really noticeable.
Yes, and then also it makes the redness on your cheeks pop out a little more. And what it also does, it might not be visible here, but they can make creases and lines on your face look deeper and darker. So it'll be more visible when you work and talk and smile and all of that.
Yeah.
So it can cast shadows on creases under your chin, sides of your face. So what happens when all those things happen, you can look older, quite tired, a bit washed out sometimes, and a little unwell.
Yeah.
And generally quite dull. So as you can see, very thick shadow appearing under the chin and sides of your face. So these colors can be a bit harsh or slightly overpowering for you.
Yeah, they're usually too dark, except for that navy one. That would be like the only colour I would wear.
So anything that's quite similar to or close to black is not the best colour on you.
Yeah.
So I usually say black, like the actual black and actual white are exceptions, just because everyone will wear them and sometimes it's easy, like it's the easiest. So with black, which is basically an extension of those colors and very similar to those colors, with black, I'm going to show you what to do. So rather than saying don't wear black because it's, you know, not your best color, I usually just give tips on how to wear it better. So firstly, it's all in the neckline.
Okay.
So try to have black or your navy tops or your darker brown tops. Try to have them a little bit away from the face. So can you see that few centimeters makes a big difference just by bringing it down a little bit. So this is V-neck sweater or
I like V-necks.
Yes, so square neck tops or necklines that are a little bit more relaxed and lower. Or in summer, we could be talking about some singlets or like a singlet, like singlet or short sleeve or tube tops or off shoulders, or something a little bit sheer. So we could be talking about lighter materials like linen, satin or silk.
Yeah.
Rather than velvet or wool or cashmere that's a little bit too thick. So it's all in the neckline, so try to bring it down a little bit away from the face if you can. So, you can keep your existing black items, but when you're going for your next one, you can maybe opt for a V-neck instead of a turtleneck, for example. So
yeah, I don't like turtlenecks.
Yes,
I don't like things around my neck.
Yes, me too. So rather than having it super close, so try to avoid turtlenecks, which you are already, but also try to avoid big black scarf or something like that, or hoodies or something with really, really big collars in this color palette, like that color palette. Yeah, and then another great tip is to break up the black a little bit. So rather than just one whole solid, it's great to have at least a little bit of a logo or a print or like a writing or something, or even a very simple black cardigan but with different colored buttons to break it up a little bit, or like thin stripes or even checkered patterns. So as long as it's not like a solid black, it does make a lot of difference just by having small elements that break it up a little bit. It could even be like a lined collar and sleeve or something like that. So those are ways to still wear black, but in a slightly better way that it doesn't cause all of that change on your face. Another least best color palette for you. You actually don't have to worry about it because I don't think you have many of these in your wardrobe anyway. But I'll just show you what happens and why this is also one of your least best, is because we've moved away from the dark sort of palettes a little bit, but these colors are still a bit too saturated, meaning they're a bit too high in pigment compared to your own face. So what happens is your face starts reflecting the color off the drapes rather than blending in with them. So what I mean by that is your face turns quite red, especially under the chin, and you'll see that gets a hue of orange.
Yeah.
A lot of yellowness just all over the face,
Mm.
and then it just happens with every color that is as strong as the primary color. Yeah, so you can really see that blue hue under the chin, and then your lips turn a little bit purple here as well because it takes on the blue, looking a little cold, and also makes the under eye pigment pop a little more. So these colors in general can be a little bit overpowering, and when you wear these colors, rather than just looking blended in and like one person, sometimes that clothing just sticks out a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It draws a lot of attention to the clothing, but not really you as a whole. So unless you're going for a very statement piece, yeah, try to avoid them too close to the face again. But if you were ever to wear something, let's say like a dark purple, like a purple like this, same tips. Lower neckline, break it up a little bit, or match your makeup to it a little bit. So you know how makeup at the end of the day is just colors and pigments, right? So you can sort of match the level of saturation by picking, let's say, like a darker lipstick, or going a little bit heavy on blush or bronzing, for example, or eye makeup, or even thicker brows or something. So yeah, so even though that kind of heavy makeup might not be your best look, at least it will be a little bit more connected and coherent with the bright colors that you're wearing. Yeah. Okay, let's show you your best colors. So these are the mute tones. I've got both warm tone and cool tone in here, because there's also a type called autumn mute, which is a warm tone version of you pretty much, but you're a summer mute. So I've got both in here, and I'm going to show you the difference.
Okay.
That's warm tone.
A bit off.
It's a little more brown compared to yours. Yours is a little more grey. So warm tone, warm tone. Can you see your face gets a lot of yellow from that? Yeah, so because you're cool tone, you're a little bit sensitive to yellowness. So maybe there's a reason why you avoided yellow and orange. It actually makes you very yellow.
Yeah.
Like this. So this is warm tone. This is also warm tone, but can you see that your face looks much less yellow and a lot brighter? Yeah, so not all warm tones are going to be the same. There are definitely warm tone colors that are safer than others for you, that you can get away with.
This definitely looks like a cooler one, slightly cooler.
This is warm tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's warm tone sage, and then that's a cool tone. So again.
I have a shirt in this colour.
Oh, perfect. So that's warm tone, that's cool tone. This is lovely. So it's like turquoise, but not quite turquoise, but a little muted version of it. Yes, in between the dusty blues. So even though this is warm tone, again, because you're a cool tone, there are certain shades that are just a bit more natural on you than others, and they are blue, purples, and pinks.
I think I have a cardigan in this one, but I don't really wear it. I should start wearing it.
You should wear it, yeah. So the warm blue still works for you. I think it's really lovely. That's a cool tone blue.
Oh, actually, I think it's more this colour.
Okay. And then that's a warm tone mauve. Slightly cooler purple. I like them both on you. So important thing to note is, as long as you're within this tone, the warm and cool difference is not that dramatic. When it's dramatic is when you jump between tones. For example, going from here to navy to cobalt blue. So that's when the change is a bit more dramatic.
Yeah.
Within the mute tone, the warm and cool, not too much. So that's a cool tone purple. This is a slightly cool tone rosy pink, and a slightly warmer one. So you're not someone who's extremely affected by the warm or cool. So you know how I said warm and cool tone is kind of like a spectrum? So it's not really a tick box. So what that means is, when I put, where you are on the spectrum here, some people can be warm tone, or they can be warm tone, or somewhere there. But you know, also for you, I don't think you're here. I think you're closer to the middle, like this, but still cool tone.
Yeah.
Like here. Okay, so that's like a warmer pink. Right, so it sounds like you already have some colours in this range, which is
a
great.
few.
Just need to look for similar ones, and then I'll show you your second best color palette. They're actually pastel colors. Alright, so I'm going to show you warm tone, cool tone different ones again. So that's warm tone, warm tone, warm tone, warm tone green, slightly cool tone green. But can you see that these colors are slightly bit too bright compared to your face?
Yeah.
So rather than blending in really, really naturally with like that, it stands out a little bit because it's quite bright. So that's why they're the second best, but there are colors that are better than others, even within the cool tones. I think the blues. So you know, like, doesn't have to be pastel blue, but you know, very pale blue shirts, like even work shirts or blouses, are very pale blue colored things, or even denim, like light denim jackets, or really, really thin sort of cardigans in blue. So I think in the second best palette, blues are really lovely on you. So that, or that. And you could also use a little bit of lilac, like lavender, this colour.
Yeah, I do wear that colour.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's cool tone. That's also cool tone. And it's a slightly warmer pink. Again, not a dramatic difference, but I do think your face looks brighter with the cool tone pink. Than the warm
Yeah,
tone.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then next, I'm gonna show you your neutrals. Okay, so I've got white, everything in between, all the way to black, and I'm going to show you how your complexion changes when we get to black, or like on the way. So this is stark white on you, which you can still use, but sometimes it can feel a little bit too bright for you. So off-white is a good alternative.
Yeah.
And you can also wear variations of whites like ivories and creams, or like a top like this, which is slightly grey, and also beige, but not as yellow as like a Burberry trench coat or even caramel kind of colour, but beige that's sort of like here, so not as yellow. But bright white, it's not a bad colour for you. It's actually better, way better than black.
Okay.
And then this is light grey. You blend in with it quite well as well, so both are quite safe for you. So any whites, variations of whites, and light grey. But as we go darker and darker, try to look out for redness popping out and shadow under the chin, and just overall complexion looking a little dull as we go darker and darker, one by one. You can already see on the eyes, especially getting darker, and just edges of your face. Yeah, and then here redness really popping out, and that's black. So black is a little bit harsh for you. So another great tip with black is to layer it with a bit of white inside. So rather than this, as you can see, if there's a little bit of white showing before it, it actually makes a lot of difference. So it's like layering a white t-shirt under a black jumper, or a white collared shirt or a blouse under like a black sweater or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a few centimeters can make a big difference. Right, So we're going to be talking about styling a bit now. So we talked about contrast before. Your contrast is on the soft side, meaning the color difference between hair, eyes, and face for you is not that dramatic, especially because your eyes are a little bit brighter than average and your face is quite fair as well. So what that means is rather than wearing outfits that's really contrasting, for example white top and black pants, what you want to do is make the color difference a little bit softer. So like this instead of that. Yeah, so even though the darker colors is on the bottom, it can have an overall effect on your outfit. So you look best when the contrast of your outfit isn't as strong, like that. Yeah, so leave the contrast element for when you have some time and energy to think about it. So for example, you don't have to worry about it every single outfit from now on, but on weekends or on days where you need to look your best or you're going for an event or something, try to also consider contrast, but on a day-to-day basis, it's enough to just prioritize wearing your color on top. So if it's gonna be black and beige, for example, just wear the beige on top instead of the other way around, and that's still enough. But when you want to look your best, you might match that beige with like a washed denim rather than black, for example. So again, I'll show you a few things. So light grey is a great neutral for someone who's a summer mute tone, and then it makes up a base of these colors as well, so they tend to go really well with the color palette. So something like this would be really lovely. It can always be the other way around, so you can have a top this color, and then rather than matching it with a darker denim or black or brown or navy, you might match it with like a washed denim or like a light grey sort of slacks or pants or something like that. So color combinations like that, really soft contrast, something like that as well is really lovely. Or sort of washed denim like this, that's really lovely as well. Or you could have them as jackets, something like that, or even accessories like scarves, something like that. So scarves are a great way to sort of cheat in winter. What I mean by that is, even if you are wearing really dark color on top, if you just have one good scarf, because they come so close to your face, even more than any jackets or tops, if you have a look, can you see that scarf really takes away that shadow under your chin and just brightens your face up a little bit, and then it creates that distance I was talking about, and it just neutralizes the black a lot more. So if you just have one or two good scarves, maybe one in light grey and maybe one in dusty blue, or even like a mauve or a colour like this, even if you are wearing black puffers and darker colours in winter, which is just realistic, it does the job for you, and that way you don't have to feel too conscious about wearing your colours and incorporating it into your day-to-day outfit, but it's just easy. Just pull it on like that. But even better would be if your top was lighter, like this, and then you could even have like a jacket or a coat or a blazer like that as well. And I quite like the pinks on you, so this is really lovely. Really love this on you, or that. Just like a nice soft look. And then if you have something like that, it's still okay to have a darker bottom because it's really far from your face. these purples as well.
Yeah.
So things like this. So look for some shirts, some blouses, just tops in these colours. And also when it comes to jeans and denim, look for some mint blue washed jeans as well. So try to assess some gaps in your wardrobe. So like we went through before, you were like, oh, I have that top, I have this. And then when you go home, just assess your wardrobe and then also see what you might be missing in terms of neutrals and basics like jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And for example, you might go, okay, like instead of buying colourful things first, you're gonna go for a mid blue denim and sort of fill in the gaps when it comes to your basics, so that when you do buy colours, you can match them really easily. Yeah. Rather than having all these colours and being like, oh, I actually have really dark pants, or you know, I don't really have colours that go with this. Okay. Otherwise, let's use some of your second best colours as well. So you said you wear off-white, but what about like stark whites, like bright whites?
Not as much.
Not as much. In summer, you can wear any type of whites and then sort of pair it with like a really light blue like this. So it could be like an oversized shirt that you add to like an everyday outfit, or it could be a denim item, or it could even come on the bottom like that. Again, soft contrast, using white, which is one of your best neutrals, using blue, which is one of your best shades, and then just creating softer contrasting outfits this way. And then this is really lovely as well. And then I love the pinks on you. Yeah. And then this turns your face a little bit too yellow, so we are going more blues and purples rather than oranges, reds and yellows in pastel. So colours like that. And this is not bad, but something like that might be a bit more ideal. So softer contrast. So when it comes to patterns as well, rather than big bold prints or big bold florals or anything like that, the smaller the pattern the better, and the more subtle it is the better. So yeah, so you know, palettes like this, keeping the palette soft like this is best. And you can just add different splashes of colour like this way as well. So for bottoms, doesn't have to be grey, but try to use, you know, beiges and oatmeals and linen and things like that. So you can even wear your colours without actually wearing them, you know, meaning you can just make, you know, you can use lots of neutrals to sort of, you know, put things together in combinations so that you don't have dark colours in your face, and also the contrast is soft. For example, white t-shirt with like a linen pair of shorts in summer with like a blue oversized shirt on you, or like a jacket on you. That's, you know, you wearing your colours even without having one of these colours or one of pastel colours or anything like that. So try to you know, expand your basics and neutrals, and then try and put like different combinations together so that you're comfortable doing that, and then colours can come last as like a splash. Yeah.
Okay.
And when you add colours as well, there are different ways to do it, and you can add colours using accessories as well. So what I mean by that is it could be like a nice printing on a t-shirt. It doesn't have to be a pink t-shirt, but it can have like a cute logo or like a button or something like that. And it could even be a handbag or tote bag color, something like that. Yeah, like a tote bag colour, or it could even be beach hats, ball caps when you're going on a hike, and it could even be like a vintage scarf tied around your handbag or just around your neck or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you can use little things like that to put a little bit of colour in there. Doesn't always have to be a top or a bottom or a jacket or a coat all the time. Okay, perfect.